all of it was a setup to fail. Let's just be honest. Because Trump thinks it should be a lot easier than it is. He thinks that, and we talked about this a bit this morning, and I feel like some of the things we talked about were so important, some of them didn't even make the air because of the tech issues that we had. But one of the things I want to be abundantly clear about right out of the gate, Trump thinks he's the greatest deal maker in the history of the world. And largely that is because in the entirety of his life, he has been doing deals about things that don't matter. Nobody gives a shit if there's another Trump building. It does not mean buildings aren't going to be built. It doesn't mean other buildings are going to be knocked down that should exist and ones that shouldn't exist will be built in its stead. It doesn't fucking matter. If he loses a deal on a golf course, it's now just a field. I mean, granted, there are things you can't do in a field that you can do in a golf course, like chase a ball around and hit it with a crooked stick, as George Carlin says, or bury your fucking ex-wife after she falls down the stairs and was cremated almost immediately, but manages to find herself in a very heavy coffin that requires almost 9 people to carry it. Sure. Yes, that's a difference between a golf course and a pasture. Although I guarantee if you cadaver dog half of Tennessee, you're going to find that there's a redneck version of that shit happening everywhere. But overall, nothing that he has ever been involved in terms of his business, mattered. Not in any sense that it couldn't be replaced. Like, none of his buildings are architecturally fundamental to the cities that they're in. You know what I mean? There's no design in one of his, like, well, shit, it's the Empire State Building. What the fuck are you gonna do? You know, you can't, like, if you think about that building, you know, it's got a magic to it. His buildings, except for the big vagina in where is it, Azerbaijan or whatever, the rest of them look like perfunctory high rises. Who gives a shit? Or they're repurposed buildings that already existed. What the fuck about his golf courses that anybody has ever seen where they went, oh my God, without this golf course, we wouldn't even know about this town, right? We wouldn't even know about this city. It is the lifeblood of the economy around here, right? Nothing. The post office was a repurposed building, and it died. It didn't work. He failed at running it. It lost money every year he owned it, except for the year that he was in the White House and he was using it as basically a bribe filter. So this idea that he is a great, it's like saying you're the world's greatest juggler, but you only do tennis balls, and you're in a field where they're going, hey, you can't do tennis balls. We have to give you 3 chainsaws. And you're like, don't worry about it. I'm the world's greatest juggler. What could possibly go wrong? And so everything that he's been involved in up to this point didn't matter to anybody. It just didn't. And now he's involved in stuff that not only is affecting soldiers' lives. People, you know, he's always bringing up Russian soldiers, and mostly soldiers die in war. Yeah, that's how it works. But not just them, but civilians in Ukraine. And by the way, in every other country like Chechnya or Georgia or Kazakhstan or Dagestan or any of the former Soviet Socialist Republic states that broke away, that Russia might decide after they're done grabbing a chunk of Ukraine, they might go, well, fuck it. Nobody gives a shit if we take all of Georgia now. As long as we do it without firing a shot by undermining the entire government or whatever, they're not really going to say anything. This looked so fucking bad. Oh, I'm not up on YouTube? Why would that be? That's very strange. It says I am. It says I'm streaming and there's 1,000 people watching on there right now. So, yeah. I might be being punished by YouTube standards. The derp state has come for me again. But I see a bunch of people on the YouTube things in there. So the point I'm trying to make is that his standard, it's like he thinks of himself as a Casanova too, as a great lover, or a great, an alpha man, an alpha male amongst, all these women, right? But he's never ever been around a woman who either wasn't with him for his money, or like slept with him as a joke, and none of them are like, dude, fuck of the century, a la Basic Instinct, right? Nobody. And he knows it. So, anyways, it's the thumbnail. Sorry. Is that what killed it? That's what shut me down, was the thumbnail of him shaking hands with 3 people. One of the things, let's see if, is this working? It seems to be. I'm afraid to push some of my buttons, but they'll work anyways. Here you go. This is the response. Mr. Magoo. Trump mocked as an embarrassment after summit slip-ups. He was well into Mr. Magoo land, beg your pardon. He was well into Mr. Magoo land before he ever made it into, the actual talks that he's having with these folks. See if I can get this up there. There we go. Shoot, there we go. Here we go. Now it's done. He didn't know, he seemed to think that Alaska was another country, or like something we own, like Puerto Rico or Guam or some shit like that. Let's see, where is it? Yeah. In all these areas, there's so much like, imagine if Biden had said, I'm leaving Alaska to go back to America. Think about that for just 1 second. Just that fucking, that alone. I'm leaving Alaska to go back to America. Just like that all by itself. Just that one sentence, the right would have run with that for the entirety of his presidency. Like, it would become a running gag about this dipshit. About Biden. And yet in the case of Trump, like, there were so many fuck ups that I think he might benefit from sort of a Gish Gallop of failure. That there are so many fuck ups in this, it kind of all blurs together into us or them. He's on our side, so like you can't go after him because you'll give ground to the liberals or whatever. So they have to defend it because there's a big wash of it. There's so many fuck ups. It's like a cloud. Now let me see this. I have I had to reopen one of my things to get to the, yeah, there it is. Let's see. Lateral. There we go. This is the, all right, here we go. Yeah, this business. Okay. Now, I'm going to skip around on this next piece as we go through all this stuff. This is the multilateral gathering, gaggling of the press for all the leaders, the European leaders that were there. And as you'll see, he does a little like this little sit down, or they're around a table, and then he kind of goes around and talks to each of them. I'm going to skip what the European leaders say by and large. And the reason I'm going to do that is because it's immaterial to the situation. I will tell you that they are all using flattery as a weapon. They are all using what I refer to as the Macron handshake. They know full well that this tapioca-brained old fart is pliable as long as you play to his ego. Just like King George, just like fucking Caligula, just like any like inbred, full of shit, aging authoritarian or monarch in, the fucking 1800s to the dawn of time. So they know they can play to him, Wait, I just had a great idea. What was my idea? Like that. So let's take a look at that, shall we? And then we'll break down some of these pieces. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, etc., etc., etc. Now I've got to skip through this thing because everything's late. So here we go. Is he probably going to say, like, we should have this in the ballroom?
Isn't it just, it's such an incredible place.
Yes, it is. It deserves better than you, dipshit. Also, you know what's incredible? The amount of saliva in that old fart's mouth, because he is on so many stimulants. This is what gacked up on Adderall does for you, folks. And at this point, it's barely revving the engine. But that's why he's got this lateral lisp, and he starts sounding like Carol Channing.
Well, we're building a big a ballroom. Beautiful.
A ballroom.
Right here.
The ironically big ballroom, considering the fucking shrimp nuts over here.
If you go, it would be right through that, right through here.
Yeah, right. Where am I? Yeah, it's over here. We're calling it the Epstein Ballroom.
It's going to be. I'll tell you, but it's going to be fantastic, actually.
Yes, it's going to be a rather large room that you can use for a multitude of things. I'm going to go with rectangular and generally in keeping with the aesthetic of the White House architecture, but with gold slather on everything. So Putin can feel comfortable when he comes over to get his nuts rubbed.
You can let them come in. I think we're going to have a...
What the fuck is the sneeze guard over here? Who the fuck is sitting over in this business? Who got... Is there a European Union kids table? And the ladder's a nice touch. Classy to the last.
Successful.
It's probably loud cameras. You know, that kind of stuff for anybody who's still using film. Who is it? Finland? It's probably Finland, isn't it?
Talk today. Yeah. Please, come on in. Do you guys
I feel sorry for the woman sitting to his left because of the smell.
want to take some questions or anything? Feel ready? Huh? Sid. Hi, Mark.
My God, he's doing scenes out of the room. Hi, Mark.
Yeah. Good.
It looks so dignified from that angle, with the exception of the lone purse on the floor.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have you here. Special place. White House is special no matter where you're from.
See, it's a special, I guess, very broad word.
Represents so much, and it really is beautiful. And thank you for...
You know what it represents to me is overmodulated microphones. Thank you. I would like to thank Donald Trump for making me feel better about my technological issues earlier, because this is the White House, and he sounds like he's broadcasting on radio in the 1930s.
All of the wonderful things that took place today. We've had a very
All of the wonderful things he does.
successful day thus far. And important discussions as we work to end the killing and stop the war in Ukraine. We're all working for the same goal. Very simple goal. We want to stop the killing.
Yeah, no, it's not just that you want to stop the killing. You know what I mean? Like, you know how you could stop the killing? One of the ways, I'll give you an example of where it's not just about stopping the killing. You could stop the killing by finishing killing everyone. You could, do you see what I mean? Like, you could, okay, I'm going to try and turn the audio up a little.
Settled.
Okay.
I've just had the honor of being with President Zelenskyy, and
they slept together? What the hell? Hold on. I'm going to bring this up.
all of the discussions that we've had. We covered a lot of territory. And I spoke indirectly with President Putin today. We're going to call
I spoke indirectly.
President Putin right after this meeting.
Yeah, no doubt. For, like, to get what? Your clearance to live another day?
I'm sure we're going to have a solid meeting, good meeting, maybe a great meeting, and we're going to try and work out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It'll be a solid meeting. Everybody's here. We're sitting at a table. Mission accomplished.
To try that after that and see if we can get it finished.
I also like saying trilat because it makes me sound like I know what the fuck is going on.
Put this to sleep because
Maybe I'm a little loopy from this morning. Put it to bed, fuckhead. Put it to bed. You want to put it to bed. You don't want to put it to sleep. It's not a dog with leukemia. It's put it to bed. Stupid. We want to put it to sleep. Like old Yeller.
this is not since the Second World War has there been anything like this. So I'm honored to welcome NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, who's a great gentleman, great political leader in Europe generally, but
Generally?
now he's the NATO Secretary General, and you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Mark. Prime Minister Starmer of the United Kingdom, our friend and my friend, and
the guy who speaks fairly clear English compared to everybody else, and I don't have to worry. The accent's a bit strong, but I can understand it compared to everyone else at this table.
doing really well.
At what? Pickleball?
And people like him a lot. We all like him. Everyone knows President Macron of France, who's been
Everyone knows who? The President Macron of France?
a lot. We all like him. Everyone knows President Macron of France.
Present. He is a gift, really. Macron really is a gift, I think, to all of us, you know. Macron, present. He thinks he's taking roll.
Who's been with me from the beginning, one of the first people I met as a foreign dignitary, and I liked him from day one.
Yeah, he's kept his office this entire time. That's weird.
And I like him
Present.
even more now. That's pretty good. That's unusual. That's
Don't like me too much. I'm worried you'll grab me by the, how do you say it? Buste? Oui? Ah, yes.
a pretty unusual thing. Prime Minister Meloni of Italy, who's a
Prime Minister Meloni of Italy.
really a great leader and an inspiration over there. She's served now, even though she's a very
God damn, the sibilance from the saliva is going to drive me ape shit. Just forewarned.
young person. She's served there for a long period of time relative to others. They don't last very long. You've lasted a long time. You're going to be there a long time. Chancellor Merz of Germany, who is a very strong person and a very strong.
I've seen him lift. He helped us move the table in here. Actually, we couldn't have gotten the middle section in place, and it's a big piece of oak.
Leader and very highly respected in Germany, and
Well, one would hope.
he's my friend, and it's an honor to have him as my friend. Thank you very much. Very good. You look great with your tan. Where did you get that tan? I want to get a tan like that.
Yeah, you can. It doesn't come out of a bottle, dumb fuck.
President Stubb of Finland, and he's
I'm not sure why he's here, except he has the biggest border with Russia of all these countries. Of all the countries, I think it's bigger than even the Ukraine border, right?
somebody that, where are we here?
Where did he put him? Hey, asshole, he's got to be to your right because you were just looking to your left.
Oh,
I'm right here, directly across the table from you, right next to Zelenskyy, the guy from Ukraine, whose country is right next to mine. Oh,
he's somebody that, where are we
he's at somebody.
here?
He looks right at him. He looks right at him.
Finland, and he's somebody that, where are we here? Where? Oh, you look better than I've ever seen you look.
I didn't recognize you almost as actually at all. You look better. I was looking around for a sick person. Yeah, all you guys have got tans now. I assumed all the Europeans were paler than this.
But you've done
This is fucking hilarious. How did they not? Seriously, all these leaders, like, where's the guy from Finland? It's going to be a gag. They're going to be caught laughing about this on camera someplace in the near future. Well, huh? Where's the guy in the? Where's my camera? Does anybody know where I was? Well, I've apparently got a camera I stream to. Ah, okay. You look different. You don't look like a camera. You look like a teleprompter thing with a camera in it. Holy shit.
a great job, and we wanted to have you here because you're somebody that we all respect.
Yes, we all respect you. We can't see you. You might be invisible. We don't respect you enough to be able to spot you on a side of the table that only has 3 people on it. One of them's a woman. The other one is Zelenskyy.
And you've had a lot to do with the success, I think, and the potential success. And thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it.
Wherever you are.
And the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who is
Von der Leyen.
Somebody that we just made a big deal with all of those countries. I don't know. I think you might be more powerful than all these guys at this table. I don't know. But you...
There's another woman at the table, just so you know. But maybe he's talking about, like, from a leg wrestling standpoint.
Had a great negotiation, and you're respected all over the world. So I want to thank you very much for being here. It's a great...
By the way, Zelenskyy is... Listen to me, Zelenskyy. Zelenskyy is trying not to laugh. Look at him. You know this, right? You know he's like, fuck this dude. Like, everybody there is doing one of these. Like... It's like the guards in Life of Brian. He has a wife, you know. Her name is Incontinentia. Incontinentia buttocks. Right.
Honor to have you. The Alaska summit reinforced my belief that while difficult, peace is within reach, and I believe that in a very significant step, President Putin agreed that Russia would accept security guarantees for Ukraine, and this is one of the key points that we need to consider, and we're going to be considering that at the table also, like who will do what, essentially.
Essentially. No, actually. Not essentially. Actually. Not basically. Not possibly. Not probably. Definitely, you dumb motherfucker.
Optimistic that collectively we can reach an agreement that would deter...
Put American boots on the ground. Wait till Marjorie Taylor Greene hears this.
Future aggression against Ukraine, and I actually think there won't be. I think that's even overrated, largely overrated, but we're going to find out. And I think...
Sorry, what?
Deter any future aggression against Ukraine, and I actually think there won't be. I think that's even overrated, largely overrated, but we're going to find out. And I
largely overrated?
I think that the European nations are going to take a lot of the burden. We're going to help them, and we're going to make it very secure. We also need to discuss the possible exchanges of territory, taking into consideration the current line of contact. That means the war zone, the war lines that are...
Is that what it means? Thanks. We haven't all been eating and breathing like war zones since you fucking showed up.
Pretty obvious, very sad, actually, to look at them.
Why? That they exist at all? Hey, here's a good idea. When you talk to Putin later, tell him to fuck off. Tell him to get out. Wouldn't that solve everything overnight?
And negotiating positions.
Again, what? Yeah, again, largely overrated. What the shit does that mean?
President Putin, also, you have President of Ukraine, who is, you just met a little while ago, and we're going to try and get
Sorry, you who? He's talking to the European leaders.
Also, you have President of Ukraine, who is...
right there. He's right there. He's right next to the other guy you couldn't spot. And all the European leaders have met with him before. They talked to him before. They've known him for a long time through this whole thing. They talk all the fucking time. And apparently today is the first day they're meeting him.
Just met a little while ago. And
No, they didn't just meet a little while ago, dummy. Did he say president Ukraine? I think he said president of Ukraine.
And negotiating positions. President Putin, also, you have president of Ukraine, who is, you just met a little while ago, and we're going to try and get a three-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can. And
maybe as soon as we can. Technically, as soon as you can is always as soon as you can. There's no maybes. Maybe you have a meeting, and then if you can have a meeting, you'll do it sooner rather than later.
I have a feeling you and President Putin are going to work something out.
Yeah, I don't care what your fucking feelings are, dummy. You're a lunatic if you think they're going to work something out. They've got 70,000 of their fucking kids.
Ultimately, this is a decision that can only be made by President Zelenskyy and by the people of Ukraine working also together in agreement with President Putin. And I just think that's very good things are going to come of it. So I hope we have a good meeting. And if we can have a good meeting, I'll set up a meeting with President Putin. And if you'd like, I'll go to that meeting. And not that I want to do that, but I will do.
No. Hey, motherfucker, you have to go. This is a trilateral meeting. You have to be sitting there, whole world watching, while this stuff eats shit. No, you have to go. You said you could solve it in one fucking phone call. You don't get to dodge the one and only bilateral. And secondly, you can't call it a trilateral meeting if there's only two parties there, motherfucker.
That because we want to save a lot of people from dying. A lot of people are dying, and we got to save them. We got to save it. 5,000.
Yeah. You know what would save them? If Russia went back to the 91 borders. Problem fucking solved. For everybody. Ukraine wasn't killing people in the Donbass, even people that were, like, pledging loyalty to Mother Russia or anything like that. Not a one.
6,000, 7,000 people sometimes a week. All of us would obviously
The entire time.
prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but
yeah, we know. We know that as of this moment, there isn't a ceasefire. We're all clear on that? We got that? Motherfucker.
President Zelenskyy and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that. In the 6 or so wars that we stopped.
He hasn't stopped any wars.
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting.
We haven't had a ceasefire. And so.
Yeah. Well, that's not true, because there are a bunch of places where you apparently stopped wars where there wasn't any actual fighting going on. You do realize that Rwanda wasn't at war. There were militia groups on the border region.
I don't know that it's necessary. You can do it through the war, but it would be. I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But
yeah, it worked great with Gaza, don't you think? Remember that? The Witkoff ceasefire lasted like half a Scaramucci.
I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable, and it can be done in the near future.
Define near. I mean, before the end of this millennium?
With all of the wars that I got involved in,
all the wars that I got involved in. You mean the ones that were either working themselves out or there wasn't any shots fired between the countries in a long time?
We only have this one left.
Hey, everybody, congratulations. It's a day for celebration. Apparently, the Israeli-Hamas war is over. Hey, that's good news, right? That's not going. It is. It's still happening. Still awful. Still not working. Oh, okay, cool. And what do you think the chances are that India and Pakistan have a dust up again sometime in the future?
Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be
Well, don't worry. Your staff will make one up if there isn't one.
one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult.
Hold on. This is one of the more. Hold on. What?
I have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult.
No shit. By the way, we all accept your apology, fuckhead. I'm kidding. No, we don't.
They're very complex. The next
Really? From what I heard, it was something you could solve in a fucking phone call. Am I right? I mean, come on. I mean, golly.
step would be for a trilateral meeting, and that will be worked out. And I just look forward to working and having a great result. We're going to spend a lot of time today talking about, and we're really honored you guys came over. I mean, these are the heads of major countries, and respected all over Europe.
Yeah, it's so exciting that they showed up because, I mean, it's not like they actually have, I don't know, an actual concern for the outcome, but it's really nice of them to drop by.
And they speak for, largely, I think I should say, but pretty much for the other countries.
They speak for the other motherfucker. They speak for the other countries. You mean theirs / the Europeans as the European Commission? Because I think that's what he means. Oh, man.
Europe. And we will come to a resolution today, I think, on almost everything, including.
What do you think they'll come to a resolution on? The war should end?
Probably the security. And that's.
Probably the security, which means, like, who's going to actually put troops in, and they're going to be all NATO countries.
Pretty much the story. I'd like to say, Mr. President, would you like to say something?
Yes, they're respected all over Europe.
You have the media. If you want, you could come over and you could stand, you could use mine, or you could just turn around, whichever you feel comfortable with.
Thank you so much. I can speak without microphone. Thank you so much. I think that we had very good conversation with President Trump.
Very good.
And
very, very good. Very good. You know why? Because J.D. Vance wasn't involved being his lap bitch.
it really was the best one. Or sorry, maybe the best one will be in the future. But it was really good. And we spoke about very sensitive points. The first one is security guarantees, and we are very happy.
Oh, may I add, this morning I brought up something with our dear friend Philip Ittner, and I believe this part of it made the air. At this point, I have lost track on what points I made that actually made the stream and ones that didn't. But I brought up the fact that everybody who's in front of a hot mic should bring up the children. That repeatedly, if you want to, even like, if you want to get through to Trump, whatever humanity is left in his fucking like rotting tapioca brain and his failing carcass, if you want to get through to him, or at least through to his followers, to a point where they can't bring up a point they can't ignore, you got to remind people that Russia has taken over 70,000 Ukrainian children hostage. Now, they don't use the word hostage. They just say they were taken. Abducted would be a word, but I think they're trying to be political about it. But the kids, and again, hostages are meant to be like returned in exchange for something, and if ultimately they are, that's what they've been the whole time. So if they do reach some sort of deal where the land is swapped and and the kids come back, and they get the kids, that means, for the record, you heard it here first, folks, that those children were held hostage. I don't care what the fuck they were called during this process. If they were returned in exchange for land or concessions, they were hostages. That's the word for what they are. And that's what they are right now.
President, that all the leaders are here, and the security in Ukraine depends on the United States and on you and on those leaders who are with us in our hearts. They have been online before yesterday, and etc. So a lot of countries on the side of Ukraine, our people, and all of us want to finish this war, stop Russia and stop this war. We spoke about it, and we will speak more about security guarantees. This is very important that the United States gives such strong signal and is ready for security guarantees. The second point, or maybe the first, humanitarian direction, very important to exchange all the prisoners, and I think that President will help. And I was very thankful to your wife again, Mr. President, for the letter about our abducted children, and I hope that
Our abducted children, very clear.
really it can be a historic role for the people to bring kids back to the families and be happy and
Get the
their
people
families.
back, yeah.
Yes, this is
Notice Trump says people. He doesn't say kids. He tries to downplay it. Bring people back. They're not fucking people, asshole. They're children. Say fucking children, you asshole. And by the way, maggots, I hope we have some in the chat room. Hi, maggots. Thanks for helping us through the whole, algorithm thing. Your bullshit Epstein's wingman leader, who was supposedly put in place by God and Jesus in the end times to get rid of the cabal of human traffickers and baby-eating Democrats or whatever, can't even say abducted children. Bring the kids back. Bring the people back. There's a reason why he says it that way.
to the families and be happy and
Get
their
the people
families.
back, yeah.
Yes,
Get the people back. They're not talking about people. They're not talking about soldiers. They're not talking about, I don't even know of any kind of adults that have been taken in this, unless he is brain farting about Gaza. He just can't bring himself to say children because he knows what a flashpoint that would actually be. If he acknowledged, somebody in the press needs to get Trump to acknowledge the children. Not people, not adults, not soldiers, not prisoner exchange, nothing. Children. What about the 60,000, 70,000 children that have been taken by Russia that are Ukrainian children? Children. Fucking make him say it. People in the press, you got one job right now before you move back to reminding the entire world that this is a distraction about Epstein. You've got to get him to actually say the words. They've got to return the children.
this is so important, and I'm happy that we discussed it.
I'm fairly certain like van der Leyen and a couple of the others, maybe even Macron, mention the children that are taken.
With the President Trump, and I hope that we will find decisions. And then what is very important, that all the sensitive things, territorial, etc., we will discuss on the level of leaders during trilateral meeting, and President Trump will try to organize such meeting, and he said that he will come or not come. Ukraine will be happy if you will
both want me
participate.
there, I will be.
If you both want me there, I will be there. Putin's going to give him an out. People go, I don't know. You don't have to be there. That's what he's asking for with that sentence. Dear Vladimir Putin, say you don't want me there. You want it to be a bilateral meeting and you want to get straight to it. But the issue is they're not going to have the fucking meeting at all. It's not going to happen.
There, yeah, you
Yeah,
know that.
thank you. And I think
It
this
certainly won't happen unless it's the United States and these two. That's the only way it will happen. If Trump isn't there, Putin won't show up. There's a chance that he won't even go or agree to it. I don't know where the fuck they would go. I mean, like, if you're Zelenskyy or even the United States, you're going to suggest places where he could get fucking arrested.
is very important. Yes, so security guarantees, bringing kids back, and all our people, not only warriors, first of all warriors, and all the civilians, journalists, a lot of people in prison. So we need them back. And guarantees which will work for the years. We spoke about it, and I showed the President a lot of details on the battlefield, on the map. Thank you so much. Thank you for the map, by the way.
Good map.
It was great. Yeah. I'm thinking how to take it back.
We'll get you.
No. I think that we had constructive, specific meeting, and
The Hague would be a great place. I agree. Thanks, Karen. Yeah, they should meet right at The Hague. Just get it over with.
I'm very thankful to all the leaders who are here, and you help a lot, and so we're happy that we have such big unity today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much,
for hosting us.
Mr.
Thank you.
President. I think you'll see that President Putin really would like to do something else. I think when we set that up, when we do, I think it's going to be when, not if. I think you're going to see some really positive moves. I know there's over 1,000 prisoners, and I know they're going to release them. Maybe they're going to release them very soon, like immediately.
No, immediately would be during the meeting. Like now. That's what immediately means, asshole.
Which I think is great. But we're going to set that up today after this meeting. So very good and great remarks. I appreciate it. Mark, as head of NATO, maybe you could say a few words, please.
Yes, I will be very brief. I really want to thank you, President of the United States, dear Donald, for the fact that you, as I said before, broke the deadlock basically with President Putin by starting that dialogue. And I think it was in February that you had the first phone call. And from
By the way, the most recent story I can find on actual prisoner exchanges was 4 days ago, and it was a retrospective look at the multiple prisoner exchanges that they've had, the channel by which they communicate to do those exchanges. Let's see, the big one was a year ago. There was another one maybe 2 months ago. Yeah. First, May 23. Yeah, May was the last one, where there were a bunch.
there, we are now where we are today. And that is, I think, if we play this well, we could end this. And we have to end this. We have to stop the killing. We have to stop the destruction of Ukraine's infrastructure. It is a terrible war. So I'm
Yes, I would say that we don't have to actually give fuck one about Russia's infrastructure, because fuck Russia. But yes, is this type of things and things of that
really
nature.
excited. And let's make the best out of today and make sure that from today onwards, we get this thing to an end as soon as possible. I really want to thank you for your leadership, what you are doing for Volodymyr, but of course also all the European colleagues. It is really crucial. And the fact that you have said, I'm willing to participate in the security guarantees is a big step.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Macron handshake. We've got our first official sighting of an official use of the Macron handshake, which is in front of God and the world and the press, which matters more to Trump than God. He says, you've agreed to help us with security guarantees, which means U.S. tech and intel or soldiers or something, but in for a penny, in for a pound. That's him being called out. Listen to how he phrases it. Hold on. Let me start this back a second ago.
Have said, I'm willing to participate in the security guarantees
I'm willing to participate in security guarantees. Now, Trump has no idea what fucking security guarantees mean. He has no idea. He just, in his mind, we'll help you bomb shit like we did Israel and Iran. That's what he thinks. But that's not what it means in a, where you're basically guarding a line so that Russia can't continue its attacks.
is a big step. It's really a breakthrough, and it makes all the difference.
I did what?
So also thank you for that.
Well, NATO also has agreed from 2% to 5%, which is something that is a massive amount of money. And it's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that is paid. That's a big difference. And
yeah, it's called wartime, asshole.
So we appreciate that. That was a great move. Thank you very much. Ursula, maybe on behalf of the Commission, you could say a couple of words.
Yes. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a very important moment. Indeed, we are here, Europeans, as friends and allies. We had a fantastic NATO summit together.
Especially after you left.
That's the two largest and biggest economies in the world. We had the largest trade deal ever.
That's right.
Agreed. And now we are here.
because you have the two largest economies, every European trade deal with the United States is the largest trade deal ever, because the economies continue to expand because of the volume of people and because of technology and all that kind of stuff. They will always kind of get bigger, unless I guess in the middle of the 2008 crash, if you'd have done one, it would be lower than the other one. But it's always going to deal with more shit being sold back and forth, period.
To work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing. This is really our common interest. Stop the killing. And indeed, it's very...
By the way, the reason they are hitting that is because Putin is continuing to attack even during the negotiations and killing civilians. And so the stop the killing part, nobody really holds this over Ukraine. Ukraine is just hitting military sites inside of Russia, for example, but they are not bombing, cities, neighborhoods, towns, any of that kind of stuff. And Russia is. So the weight of this phrase is to the benefit of Ukraine in this negotiation, and in the narrative around the war itself. It's clarifying who's killing people. It's not soldiers fighting each other and soldiers dying in the process of being at war. Who's killing people? Russia is.
Good to hear that we're working on the security guarantees, Article 5 like security guarantees.
Article 5 like security guarantees.
So important, but I want to thank you also that you mentioned the thousands of Ukrainian children.
There we go. Keep hammering this. Everybody has to keep hammering this. To the point where Trump, because he blathers, how he says whatever the last thing that was spoken into his ear when he goes on stage a lot of times. You need to fill his head with this so that when he speaks to Putin, he can't help but bring it up.
That have been abducted. And as a mother and grandmother, every single child has to go back to its family. This should be one of our main priorities.
Right, and the press needs to hammer this story non-stop. Tens of thousands of kids taken and effectively sold in Russia. You want to talk about human trafficking? I don't want to hear shit about, from maggots about human trafficking and adrenochrome and all that kind of shit when they couldn't even muster up the energy to give a goddamn about an actual case of children being abducted from one country by another country and sold on a fucking eBay site.
In these negotiations to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine to their families.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And we did. I was just thinking we're here for a different reason, but we just a couple of weeks ago made the largest trade deal in history. So that's...
God damn. Think about that for a second. Think about what she just said about children. As a mother and a grandmother, the children need to go back to their families, right? And we're basically we were just talking recently about something else, about money, 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 money. There's your Christian for you, folks, maggots. That's your man picked by God. There he is. What more could you ask for in a faux Christian? Yeah, I mean, served up right in front of you. Congratulations. The antithesis of everything Christ said. Mission accomplished, assholes.
That's a big thing, and congratulations.
It is a big thing. Not as big as getting children that have been abducted out of a fucking war zone back to their families. Honestly, on a moral and human level.
That's great. Thank you very much, Ursula.
Ursula.
Chancellor from Germany, a very great leader.
Mr. President,
Please.
dear Donald, many thanks for having us today. I think this is extremely helpful that we are meeting and hearing that the two of you are having such a good meeting today here in Washington. The next steps ahead are the more complicated ones now. The path is open. You opened it last Friday. But now the way is open for complicated negotiations. And to be honest, we all would like to see a ceasefire, the latest from the next meeting on. I can't imagine that the next meeting would take place without a ceasefire. So let's work on that, and let's try to put pressure on Russia.
Okay, that's a non-starter. Russia's not going to go for a ceasefire. This is what van der Leyen was talking about before Trump went, we did such a great trade deal. You want to talk about a fucking trade deal? Russia has created a catalog of Ukrainian kids, and you can adopt these fucking children that were taken, their families are alive, that were taken from Ukraine. And not just areas in the Donbass where they scooped up people that were technically Ukrainian, but now they're Russian, and they put them up for adoption because they sent their dad off to war and shit like that. This is in all the invaded territories. They took them back when they retreated back to the current line. They stole a bunch of fucking kids. And now you can order one on the fucking internet. And not on the dark web. It's not like they found this fucking thing on, you know, and you have to use a Tor browser or an Onion browser to do this. Russia installed occupation authorities in Ukraine's Luhansk region created an online catalog of Ukrainian children, offering them for coerced adoption through the education department. The database includes 294 Ukrainian children who are sorted and categorized so the users can filter them by age, gender, and physical traits like eyes and hair color. The children are advertised for their character traits, with some described as obedient or calm. Here's my question. Do you think they have a fucking choice? You think they got a choice about being obedient and calm? Or do you think there were more kids than the 294 that are on this particular website in the Luhansk region? You think there were maybe 500 of them, and a couple hundred of them weren't calm and obedient, and they're gone. That's what she's talking about. She's talking about this. She's talking about these kids taken from Ukraine, from their families, and held in Russia, and now basically being auctioned off. And you can pick them by eye color and hair color. Think of all the serial murders and rapists that Vladimir Putin let out of prison so they could go fight for Russia on the front line, and then they could absolve themselves of their sentence, who go back home and then they can just order a kid off a fucking catalog. Jesus. And then Trump's like, we made a good trade deal, didn't we?
Because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today are depending on at least a ceasefire from the beginning of the serious negotiations from next step on. So I would like to emphasize this aspect and would like to...
Part of the reason he's bringing that up is A, because it's perfectly reasonable to bring up, but also because they know full well that Russia is not going to agree to one.
See a ceasefire from the next meeting, which should be a trilateral meeting wherever it takes place.
Well, we're going to let the president go over and talk to the president, and we'll see how that...
The president talked to the president. Tapioca.
Works out, and if we can do that, I will say, and again I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled,
0.
I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and one of the wars was, as you know, in the Congo was 31 years long. Another one that we settled last week with 2 great countries was 35 years going on, and we had no ceasefire. So if we can do the ceasefire, great. And if we don't do a ceasefire, because many other points were given to us, many points were given to us, great points. Please, Georgia, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Donald, Mr. President, for hosting us today in this important meeting. And I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed, thanks to you. Thanks also to the stalling in the battlefield, which was achieved with the bravery of Ukrainians and with the unity that we all provided to Ukraine. And the reason why I mention it is that we also have
Notice how he stopped nodding when she said unity.
to remind
Unity.
that if we want to reach peace,
Macron is either whispering to the person to his right or is leaning away because Trump farted. He's French, so it must have been a bad one.
and if we want to guarantee justice, we have to do it united. So that's why it's a very good day, the one we are in. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we
have an economy that is now bigger than Russia's. So what the fuck are we even talking about?
do absolutely support your efforts towards peace. We will talk about many important topics. The first one is security guarantees, how to be sure that it won't happen again, which is the precondition of every kind of peace. I'm happy that we will discuss about that. I'm happy that we will begin from a proposal, which is the, let's say, Article 5 model, which was Italian at the beginning. So we are always ready to bring our proposals for peace, for dialogue. It's something we have to build together to guarantee peace and to defend the security of our nation. So thank you, Mr. President, for hosting us.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel?
Thank you, Mr. President, for organizing
You're not just going to call him president?
this meeting and for your commitment. And
To letting me spend at least a little time alone with Melania.
everything was said, but I have to...
She insisted, you know. She asked me to grow a mustache for this particular trip, and I did not have the time. I feel bad. But next time, perhaps. Curly Q, when she wants to tug on it, I hear.
I just have to say here, everybody around this table is in favor of peace. And we work very hard, and we've worked very hard during the past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it. And by the way, I think as a follow-up, we would need probably a quadrilateral meeting, because when we speak about security guarantees, we speak about the whole security of the European continent. And this is why we are all united here with Ukraine on this matter.
United with Ukraine. Notice, did he stop? I think he stopped nodding again.
All united here with Ukraine.
Huh? We are? Oh.
On this matter. In order to organize such a trilateral meeting, your idea to ask for a truce or ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discussed, is a necessity. And we all support this idea. And in order to have such a long-standing peace for Ukraine and for the whole continent, we do need these security guarantees. And the first one is clearly a credible Ukrainian army for the years and decades to come. And the second one is our own commitment.
Years and decades to come. Yes, we do one thing. We do believe in a peace. We've got to take a piss boy. Your Honor, Your Highness, you look like the piss boy. You look like a bag of shit. No, you look exactly like the piss boy.
All of us. And we worked very hard during the past few months amongst the coalition of the willings with the support of NATO.
It's good to be the king.
To build the different pillars of security guarantees and our commitments. And you can be sure that Europeans are very lucid about the fact that they have their fair share in these security guarantees for Ukraine, but their own security is clearly at stake in this situation. So you can count on us as we can count on you in order...
See that? You can. Like, he draws him in. They're all doing it.
...to deliver this robust peace for both Ukraine and Europe.
A robust peace. Something you had not had in a long time. You I understand, get up in the middle of the night and make a small piddle, nothing comes out, and you go back to bed damp and sad.
Thank you very much.
When you try to have a peace.
Mr. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you for hosting us here. Can I start where Emmanuel started, which is we all want peace. The war...
Yeah, I do. I think we all do. Yeah, we do.
And Ukraine has had a huge impact, particularly on the Ukrainians who've borne the brunt of it, but it's also had an impact.
Look at his face. He's over it. The old man switch has been flipped. Whatever he took earlier, he knows he can't go to. He's got to take a shit, and he's just going in his diaper right now because he can't leave the table. And he's upset about the fact that he can't go where he wants because this job is also a prison to anybody that doesn't have a command of their own inner psychology.
On Europe and on the United Kingdom, there's not a family or community that hasn't been affected. And when we talk about security, we're talking about the security not just...
Yes, we are, aren't we? Oh, and there will be a great confusion as to where things truly are, and the children will not know where lies the things of their father, the sort of had a length of and a rapier work attachment that was only put there the night before around 8 o'clock.
Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe and the United Kingdom as well, which is why this is such an important issue. I think this is such an important meeting. As a group, I think we've had a discussion on the phone a number of times, Mr. President, but be able now to be around the table to take it forward. And I really feel that we can, I think, with the right approach this afternoon, make real progress.
No, it's not Mr. Bean. That's from Life of Brian, everybody. The wall of prophets. Michael Palin is a genius and a gift to all humanity, and one of the funniest people that has ever existed in the entire timescape of the universe since before the Big Bang. Something must have caused the bang, so I'm going to go with time in its own way because there had to be a before existed, pre-time in our temporal world, or something like it, right? And Michael Palin was even funny then.
Particularly on the security guarantees, and your indication of security guarantees, of some sort of Article 5 style guarantees, fits with what we've been doing with the Coalition of the Willing, which we started some months ago, bringing countries together and showing that we were prepared to step up to the plate when it came to security, with you coming alongside.
It's like he's translating what all the other people with like foreign accents to Trump said. What? Article what?
The US alongside what we've already developed, I think we could take a really important step forward today. A historic step, actually, could come out of this meeting in terms of security for Ukraine and security in Europe. I also feel that we can make real progress towards a just and lasting outcome. Obviously, that has to involve Ukraine, and a trilateral meeting seems the sensible next step. So thank you for being prepared to take that forward, because I think if we can ensure that...
So they are all, if you'll notice, and I don't know if they're all hitting the children point, but they are all hitting the united part and the Article 5 stuff to set this up ahead of time. So they are establishing the agenda. Trump is not. He is following in this circumstance, just for the record.
Is the progress out of this meeting, both security guarantees and some sort of progress on trilateral meeting of some sort to bring some of the difficult issues to a head, then I think today will be seen as a very important day in recent years.
Denise says this feels like an intervention. Yeah. They're all taking the car keys away from Grandpa.
In relation to a conflict which has gone on for 3 and a bit years, and so far nobody's been able to bring it to this point, so I thank you for that.
The Ukrainians have, by kicking Russia's ass. How they had a meeting before the meeting without Trump. No question, CSL. That's exactly... They gamed this out. They have a strategy. He does not.
Well, thank you very much. And, it's very interesting because this is the first for the White House. You can't say that very often. It's seen a lot over the years, since 1800, 1799, to be almost exact.
Somebody told him when the building was built, while they were walking around building putting on the plans for the ballroom. So he's been carrying around that piece of Wikipedia in his head, wanting to say it.
But this is the first where we've had so many prime ministers, presidents, the heads of European nations. And by the way, Alex, I'd like you to say a couple of words too. You're a young, powerful man. Before I finish up, I want you to say a couple of words. Go ahead.
I'll take the notion of youth back to my wife and try to convince her. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
I think that was a Viagra joke. Points, Finland.
Think in the past 2 weeks we've probably had more progress in ending this war than we have in the past 3.5.
Yeah, because they've been busy fighting it up till now. I got news for you. Every day that goes forward, you'll have more progress in ending it than you did the day before, because at some point somebody's going to lose. It's going to be Russia.
Yes, and I think the fact that we're around this table today is very much symbolic in the sense that it's Team Europe and Team United States helping Ukraine, and the progress that we're looking out of this
America, fuck yeah,
meeting is about the security guarantees, which are a big part of this, and then of course moving towards a process with a trilateral meeting with you and President Putin and President Zelenskyy. Some of the international media might wonder, why is the President of Finland here? I think the reason is probably that we might come from a small country, but we have a long border with Russia, over 800 miles. And we, of course, have our own historical experience with Russia. From
don't hide from it, Finland. You're not a small country. You got a big footprint, son. You're basically California.
World War II, the Winter War, and the War of Continuation. And if I look at the silver lining of where we stand right now, we found a solution in 1944, and I'm sure that we'll be able to find a solution in 2025 to end Russia's war of aggression and find and get
there you go, Russia's war of aggression,
a lasting and just peace. The situation is very difficult, but that's why we're here.
Thank you, Alex, very much. Good job.
Thank you for talking long enough for me to look at my list to get your name again. That's what that was.
So we're going to be meeting for a while, and
that's true no matter how long it lasts, I think.
We're going to discuss some of the issues, and
you sure?
I don't think there's any issue that's overly complex. It's at a point now.
You're right. You're right. It's real fucking simple. Russia, fuck off. That's how simple it is. Anything short of that gets real goddamn complicated and takes a lot of effort, time, and money, and lives.
Where people want to do things. I really do believe. I've known him for a long time. I've always had a great relationship with him. I think that President Putin wants to find an answer too.
Yes. The answer is he wants all of Ukraine to belong to Russia, the Ukrainian language and culture to be stamped out, and Zelenskyy to be drawn and quartered. Oh, and they want to keep the kids. So.
And we'll see. And in a certain period of time, not very far from now, a week or 2 weeks, we're going to know whether or not.
2 weeks. Oh, the old 2 weeks has reared its ugly head.
We're going to solve this, or is this horrible fighting going to continue? We'll do our best to get it ended. And I believe you have two willing parties, and usually that's good news, but two willing parties that want to make a deal. And we'll journey to.
Yeah, I guess it's easier to make a deal when both sides want to make a deal. I mean, it must be easier than when one side wants to make a deal and the other doesn't, or both don't, technically speaking. Jesus, this guy should write a book.
Together, and we'll go over and we'll see if it can be done. And it might.
And if it can be done, it'll be great. If it can't be done, then I guess it can't. So.
It's possible it might not be able to be done. On the other hand, it's possible it will. I'm going to say.
It's amazing how he can sum up what I would think the essence of human life, which is potential. The potential for something to happen or not to happen. And indeed, if something doesn't happen, isn't that in its own way something happening? Just the lack of a certain thing happening creates a void for even more potential. It's a miracle, I would say. That dude is a fucking poet.
Thousands and thousands of lives a week. And so it's something we really have to do.
Tens of thousands a month, hundreds of thousands a year. It's amazing. You can just keep going on like this.
And, or at least we have to give it our best. It's all you can do. You can give it your best, but I think we may have a very good outcome. So,
maybe, perhaps your best wasn't good enough.
I want to thank you all, and the media, I want to thank you. We're going to be staying here for a little while. Then we're going to walk over to the Oval Office, and we're going to have another little discussion.
This is fascinating. Is someone writing this down?
About similar matters. And
really? So you're going to talk here for a while about what you're talking about, and then you're going to move to another room and talk about it there? No shit. I always wondered how it worked, and I still haven't found out, and I don't think I'm going to.
And they're going to go home to their great countries and report. And I'm going to remain here and work, and you're going to go and work. We're all going to be working. We may be in a different location, but that's what we know how to do is work. But
yeah, that's work and golf, mostly golf.
I want to thank the media. Has been actually very fair, generally speaking, very fair. I think it's important.
Wait till Congress comes back.
That they're fair, because this is a very important.
By the way, the reason somebody's saying why move from this room to the other, it's so Trump can go use the restroom. And Walt Nada and Stephen Chung can hose down his diaper and put on a new one.
This is a very important subject. We have to get it ended. And so
the subject?
That's all we ask for is fairness with the media. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
In all fairness, you're a fucking idiot.
Thank you very much.
There you go, press. Get out. Okay, so we made it through there. I'm very impressed with you guys. Thanks so much. Let's go back to here. Chat room. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. I wasn't going to go through the whole thing, but it actually worked out. Yeah, they need to play. They can't play YMCA at the end of that. I think they would probably end up just going.
I love that feeling. Super hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie, oh. Butts and thongs and vests and thongs. Whoa, I love that feeling. Zipper hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie, oh. Boink, boink, doobie-doo. You know what I want to do. Yay. Boink, boink, doobie-doo. You know what I want to do.
So, I don't want to get everybody's hopes up, though. We can't play YMCA, so that's my placeholder music for YMCA. At the end of all these gatherings,